Back in 1995, Friday made us laugh with unforgettable characters and crazy neighborhood drama. But 3 decades later, the story of its cast is no comedy. Most of them are gone, taken by illness, addiction, or sudden tragedy. Can you guess who's still alive? Let's find out. Tiny Zeus Lister Jr. as Debo. If you remember Friday, you can't forget Debo, the neighborhood menace who made everyone uneasy just by walking into a scene. Tiny Lister Jr. brought him to life at age 37, giving the character a mix of raw intimidation and subtle comedic timing. Every frame with Debo crackled with tension. Whether he was shaking down neighbors for their bikes or silently sizing up Smokey and Craig, Tiny made the bully feel terrifyingly real, yet strangely entertaining. Tiny's childhood wasn't easy. Growing up in Los Angeles, he faced financial struggles and the constant pressure of standing out in a world that judged him for his size. Being tall and strong as a kid wasn't just an advantage. It often made him feel isolated. He learned resilience early, navigating a rough environment that shaped both his personality and his later career choices. Breaking into entertainment was another uphill battle. Tiny first wrestled professionally, enduring grueling schedules and physical strain to make a name for himself. Moving into acting presented a fresh set of obstacles: typecasting, long shooting days, and proving he could do more than just play the big guy. Despite this, his determination and charisma helped him land steady roles, eventually leading to iconic parts like Debo. Lister's career extended well beyond Friday. He appeared in over 200 films, including The Fifth Element and The Dark Knight, and carved out a niche as the go-to actor for both menacing villains and humorous, larger-than-life characters. His blend of physical presence and timing made each role memorable, showing a versatility audiences might not expect from someone his size. Yet his personal life had its own battles. Tiny struggled with health issues linked to his size, as well as the challenges of divorce, financial troubles, and the occasional public scandal. He passed away at 62 due to heart-related complications. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at $3 million, reflecting earnings from wrestling and his extensive film career. John Witherspoon as Mr. William Willie Jones. Mr. Willie Jones, the loud, hilarious dad of Friday, 1995, was the neighborhood anchor. At 53, Witherspoon brought to life a father who could scold, joke, and drop unforgettable one-liners, perfectly balancing comedy with heart. His scenes with Craig, debating, teasing, or giving life lessons showed a man both flawed and deeply loving, and every man you couldn't help but root for. John's own childhood in Detroit was far from easy, and it shaped the man he became. Money was tight, school could be harsh, and he often relied on humor to cope with life's pressures. Those early struggles taught him resilience, quick thinking, and how to turn a tough situation into a laugh, a skill he carried into every performance. Breaking into entertainment wasn't simple. He started in comedy clubs, often performing for small audiences and juggling day jobs to make ends meet. Rejection was constant, but each no honed his timing, patience, and determination, eventually opening doors to television and film. His persistence paid off. Witherspoon became a comedy powerhouse with roles in Boomerang, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and dozens of sitcoms. His ability to blend sarcasm with warmth made him one of the most recognizable and beloved faces in comedic television, influencing a generation of performers. Even as years of heavy work, late nights, and unhealthy habits took a toll on his health, John never lost his spark. He passed at 77 in 2019, leaving behind a legacy defined by laughter, authenticity, and unforgettable characters. Mr. Jones lives on as a symbol of humor, heart, and the enduring power of a well-timed joke. Michael Clarke Duncan as Craps Dealer. Blink, and you might miss him in Friday, 1995. Michael Clarke Duncan, at 38, appeared briefly as a craps dealer in one of his very first uncredited roles. Even without lines, his towering frame and gentle energy made an impression, and it marked the quiet start of a remarkable Hollywood journey. Duncan's childhood in Chicago was marked by poverty. He grew up in a rough neighborhood, watching friends get lost to crime, and took on responsibility early after his father abandoned the family. His mother's battle with cancer deepened his resolve to escape the cycle, fueling his determination to find something better. Before Hollywood, he worked as a bodyguard for stars like Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. The job was grueling and risky, but it kept him close to the industry. He dreamed of acting, but at first, his size got him cast only as the big guy. Rejections piled up, but he refused to quit. Fred Dalton Thompson as Frank. Frank, the loyal bodyguard and driver for Baby Bink's wealthy family, was played by Fred Dalton Thompson, a man whose real life was as dramatic as anything Hollywood could script. At the time of Baby's Day Out in 1994, Thompson was 52 years old. Acting was only one chapter in his extraordinary career. He had started out as a lawyer, even making a name for himself in the Watergate investigation, before stumbling into acting with the film Marie, 1985, a story based on a case he himself had worked on. His tall frame and commanding Southern presence made him a natural authority figure on screen. But Thompson wasn't just an actor. That same year, 1994, he entered politics and went on to serve as a U.S. Senator for Tennessee until 2003. Later, he became a household name again on television as District Attorney Arthur Branch on Law & Order, a role he played from 2002 to 2007. His popularity was so strong that he even launched a campaign for the Republican presidential nomination in 2007. Behind the public life, though, there were private battles. Thompson was a heavy smoker, and in 2004 he was diagnosed with lymphoma, which eventually returned and claimed his life in 2015 at the age of 73. He also endured personal losses, including the death of his first wife, Sarah Lindsay, in 2009, and the constant strain of political scrutiny. Despite controversy over his lobbying ties and a failed presidential bid, Thompson left behind a unique legacy. Few men could say they were both a U.S. Senator and a Hollywood actor. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at $8 million, earned through a career that straddled law, politics, and entertainment. Annabella Sciorra as Mrs. McCulley. Mrs. McCulley may not have been at the center of Baby's Day Out, but the role gave Annabella Sciorra a chance to lend her familiar warmth to the ensemble. At the time, in 1994, she was 34 years old and already one of Hollywood's rising stars. Sciorra had burst onto the scene with her acclaimed debut in True Love, 1989, followed by standout performances in Spike Lee's Jungle Fever, 1991, and the thriller The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, 1992. By the mid-1990s, she was considered one of the most promising actresses of her generation. Her career, however, was deeply impacted by trauma. In the 1990s, Sciorra was raped by producer Harvey Weinstein, an assault she later revealed publicly when she became one of the key witnesses in the case that brought him to justice in 2017. The experience left her struggling with depression and isolation for years. Despite those hardships, she continued to work, taking on powerful roles, including a memorable turn in The Sopranos, and becoming a symbol of strength for survivors of abuse. Off-screen, Sciorra married actor Joe Petruzzi in 1993, but the marriage ended in divorce in 1999, and she has no children. She has also spoken candidly about using alcohol as a crutch during some of her darker periods in Hollywood. Yet through it all, she has endured. Now 65 years old in 2025, Sciorra remains active in film and television with an estimated net worth of $4 million. More importantly, she has found her voice not only as an actress, but as an advocate, proving that even in the face of unthinkable trauma, resilience is possible. Cynthia Nixon as Gilbertine. In Baby's Day Out, Cynthia Nixon played Gilbertine, the caring nanny who watched over Baby Bink before his big adventure began. She was 28 years old when the film was released in 1994, still early in a career that would soon skyrocket. Just 4 years later, Nixon would become world famous as Miranda Hobbs on Sex and the City, 1998 to 2004. Sharp, witty, and fiercely independent, Miranda became one of television's most relatable characters. Nixon reprised the role in 2 feature films and again in HBO's revival and Just Like That, 2021 to present, earning both Emmy and Tony Awards along the way. More recently, she has delighted audiences as Ada Brooke in The Gilded Age. Her personal life has been as eventful as her career. Nixon was in a long-term relationship with schoolteacher Danny Moses, with whom she had 2 children, before divorcing in 2003. In 2012, she married Christine Marinoni. One of the secrets behind the wildest stunts in Baby's Day Out was Vern Troyer, who doubled for Baby Bink in certain action scenes. In 1994, Troyer was 25 years old, a little-known performer whose stature, he stood just 81 centimeters tall due to cartilage hair hypoplasia, made him uniquely suited for the job. Troyer would later become world famous as Mini-Me in the Austin Powers films, a role that brought him instant recognition and cult status. His comedic timing and willingness to parody himself won over millions of fans. But behind the laughter was a man fighting immense personal battles. Troyer struggled with alcoholism from a young age and endured repeated hospitalizations for alcohol poisoning and depression. He openly admitted to childhood abuse and carried those scars for the rest of his life. Fame only made the struggles harder. A leaked sex tape in 2008 and financial troubles, including bankruptcy in 2010, kept him in the tabloids for reasons far removed from his talent. In April 2018, at just 49 years old, Troyer died in Los Angeles from alcohol intoxication, ruled as suicide. His death highlighted the dark toll of addiction and mental illness, even on those who seem to have achieved success. At the time of his passing, his estate was estimated at only $200,000, most of his Austin Powers fortune lost to medical bills and reckless spending. Lara Flynn Boyle as Lorraine Cotwell. As Lorraine Cotwell, the elegant and worried mother of Baby Bink, Lara Flynn Boyle was just 24 years old when Baby's Day Out premiered in 1994. It was one of many roles in a career that saw her rise quickly to stardom in the 1990s. Boyle first captivated audiences as Donna Hayward in David Lynch's Twin Peaks, 1990, a role that made her a household name. She later appeared in hit films like Men in Black 2 and Dead Poets Society. Known for her striking beauty and screen presence, she seemed destined for a long Hollywood reign. But her life off-screen was often turbulent. Boyle struggled with drug use, including cocaine in the 1990s, and underwent several cosmetic surgeries that drew tabloid scrutiny. Her high-profile romance with Jack Nicholson between 1999 and 2003 kept her in the headlines, sometimes more than her acting. She married real estate developer Donald Ray Thomas II in 2006, though the couple never had children. Boyle's lifestyle also took its toll. A strict diet, heavy smoking, and constant tabloid attention left her visibly frail and eventually pushed her into a long hiatus from acting. For nearly 20 years, she lived largely out of the spotlight, relocating to Texas for a quieter life. In 2023, Boyle made a small comeback with Mother, Couch, reminding audiences of the talent that once made her one of the most talked-about actresses of her generation. Now 55, with an estimated net worth of $6 million, she represents both the allure and the cost of Hollywood fame. Matthew Glave as Bennington Cotwell. Bennington Cotwell, the wealthy father of Baby Bink, was portrayed by Matthew Glave, whose sharp features and steady demeanor fit the role of a high-society businessman. At the time of Baby's Day Out in 1994, Glave was 31 years old, still carving out his path in Hollywood. Glave's career blossomed after that. In 1998, he played Glenn Guglia, the hilariously smarmy fiancé in The Wedding Singer, a role that made him instantly recognizable. He went on to appear in critically acclaimed films like Argo, 2012, and worked steadily in television, with recurring roles in ER, Charmed, Army Wives, and 13 Reasons Why. His personal life has been refreshingly steady compared to many Hollywood peers. Glaive married fellow actress Anita Barone in 1997, and together they have 2 daughters, Madeline and Roxanne. Family life often took priority, and he has spoken about enjoying reading and traveling with his loved ones more than chasing the limelight. Now 62, Glaive continues to appear in television and film, maintaining a career that has spanned 3 decades. With an estimated net worth of $2 million, he remains a reliable and versatile presence in Hollywood. Never the tabloid headliner, but always a face audiences are happy to see. Brian Haley as Victor Vico Riley. Victor Vico Riley was the muscle of the hapless trio of kidnappers in Baby's Day Out. Big, clumsy, and constantly on the receiving end of Baby Bink's accidental slapstick punishment, Vico became a fan favorite thanks to Brian Haley's comic timing. Haley was 31 years old when the film premiered in 1994. By then, he had already made a name for himself as a stand-up comedian, bringing a physical style of humor that translated perfectly into the pratfalls required for Vico. Though Baby's Day Out wasn't a massive box office hit in America, it gained cult status abroad, and Haley's performance. In the years that followed, Haley took on a variety of roles, moving between comedy and drama. Audiences may remember him from Clint Eastwood's Gran Torino, 2008, or Martin Scorsese's The Departed, 2006. He also continued stand-up, appearing on late-night shows throughout the 1990s and 2000s. Away from the spotlight, Haley chose a quieter life. Married to Marjorie McCorshon since 1987, he raised 5 children and even stepped back from acting at times to focus on family. He has no public scandals or controversies, just the reputation of a hard-working actor and a devoted father. Now 62, with an estimated net worth of around $500,000, Haley lives privately, a reminder that not every Hollywood story needs drama to be meaningful. Eddie Bracken as the old-timer. At 79 years old in 1994, Eddie Bracken brought a touch of classic Hollywood charm to Baby's Day Out in one of his final film roles as the kindly old-timer. For younger audiences, he was just a sweet old man helping Baby Bink along his adventure. But to older film lovers, he was a comedy legend from Hollywood's golden age. Bracken had been in show business since childhood, performing in vaudeville and even appearing in silent shorts before landing his first Broadway and film roles in the 1930s. He became a household name in the 1940s with Preston Sturges comedies like The Miracle of Morgan's Creek and Hail the Conquering Hero. Known for his owl-faced expressions and stammering comic delivery, he was the quintessential shy, well-meaning hero. After stepping away from film in the 1950s, Bracken found new life on stage and later returned to television and movies in the 1980s and 90s. He earned a Tony nomination in 1978 for Hello, Dolly, opposite Carol Channing, and was honored with 2 stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Off-screen, Bracken was devoted to his wife, Anna Connie Nickerson, whom he married in 1939. Their marriage lasted 63 years until her death in 2002, just 3 months before his own passing from complications of neck surgery. They raised 5 children together, though tragedy struck when their son Michael died in a car accident in 1970. Eddie Bracken passed away in 1971, November 2002 at age 87, leaving behind a career that spanned over 6 decades and a legacy as one of comedy's most endearing faces. Adam Robert Wharton as Baby Bink No. 1. The true star of Baby's Day Out was, of course, Baby Bink, and it took 2 little boys to bring him to life. Adam Robert Wharton, only 2 years old in 1994, shared the role of the adventurous baby with his twin brother Jacob. Unlike many child actors, Adam did not pursue a career in Hollywood. Instead, He grew up in Delaware, eventually studying fashion at the University of Delaware and working quietly in that industry. Now, 33 years old in 2025, Adam has chosen to live outside the spotlight, preferring a life of privacy over fame. Though his only acting credit remains the beloved family comedy, Adam will forever be remembered as part of one of cinema's most mischievous toddlers. With an estimated net worth of around $100,000, mainly from film royalties, he's built a modest but content life, far removed from the whirlwind of show business. D.B. Frick as the bus driver. In Baby's Day Out, 1994, audiences caught a glimpse of D.B. Frick, then just 17 years old, in the small but memorable role of the bus driver. Though it was only a brief appearance, it marked the start of his journey in the entertainment world, at a time when he was still figuring out where his talents might take him. Rather than following a straight Hollywood path, Frick explored a wide range of creative projects over the years. He popped up in quirky productions like Citizen Candyman, a Chockumentary, 2005, the indie film Holy Roller, 2010, and lent his voice and humor to National Lampoon's Final Edition Radio Hour in 2015. His career became a patchwork of stage performances, comedy, radio, and writing, proof of his love for storytelling in all its forms. Outside of acting, Frick also carried an unusual distinction. In 1993, at just 16 years old, he became the youngest Eagle Scout in Nassau County, New York. That achievement spoke to the same determination and persistence that would later shape his creative life. Now 48 in 2025, D.B. Frick continues to live as a multi-hyphenate entertainer and writer. He may never have been a household name. As an adult, Jacob took a different path from his brother. He studied hospitality management and went on to work as a chef in Pennsylvania and Delaware, including at hospitals and restaurants. Known for his love of healthy cooking and a quiet lifestyle, Jacob has avoided the fame and pressures that often haunt child actors. Now 33 years old, Jacob lives a private life, occasionally amused when people confuse him with his twin. His estimated net worth is similar to Adam's, around $100,000, mainly tied to royalties from the film. For fans, though, he remains unforgettable as one half of the adorable duo who brought baby Bink to life. Jennifer Sagan as Ronnie Lee. Jennifer Sagan was just 25 years old when she appeared in Baby's Day Out, 1994, as Ronnie Lee, adding to the colorful ensemble of supporting characters. While it wasn't a leading role, it became one of her earliest credits on the big screen and helped open the door for the steady career that followed. Born in 1969, Jennifer gradually built a resume that spanned television, film, and stage. She became particularly active in television, with appearances in hit shows such as 911, 2018, Magnum P1, 2018, and The Rookie, 2018. Though she never reached the level of widespread fame that comes with headline roles, her work earned her recognition as a dependable actress who could bring presence and authenticity to any project. For longtime viewers of network dramas and action shows, her face became one of quiet familiarity. Off-screen, Jennifer has always valued stability over the turbulence of Hollywood fame. She married Robert Kevin Bonham in 1997, and the two have remained together for nearly 3 decades, a rarity in the entertainment industry. She has largely kept her personal life private, steering clear of tabloid controversies and instead focusing on her work and her family. Now 55 years old in 2025, Jennifer continues to act occasionally, taking roles that interest her while enjoying a life away from the constant glare of celebrity culture. For fans of Baby's Day Out, she will always be remembered as part of the ensemble that made the film so endearing. But her journey since then has shown the quiet strength of building a balanced life and career on her own terms. Anna Thompson as Mrs. McCrae. As Mrs. McCrae in Baby's Day Out, Anna Thompson brought warmth and presence to the Cotwell family's circle. At 41 years old in 1994, she was already an actress with a distinctive resume that blended Hollywood films with international art house acclaim. Born in New York City in 1953, Thompson gained early recognition in films like Desperately Seeking Susan, 1985, Fatal Attraction, 1987, and Unforgiven, 1992, the last of which won the Oscar for Best Picture. But she also developed a cult following in France thanks to her collaborations with director Amos Kollek, particularly her acclaimed performance in Sue, 1997. Known for her unique screen presence and willingness to embrace complex roles, Anna Thompson never fit neatly into Hollywood stereotypes. That made her a favorite among cinephiles, even if she wasn't a mainstream star. Now 71 in 2025, she has stepped back from acting in recent years, but remains a respected figure among film enthusiasts, remembered both for her mainstream work and her celebrated indie performances. So many years have passed since Baby's Day Out first hit theaters, yet the stories of its cast continue to fascinate, from Hollywood comebacks to private lives far from the spotlight. Which journey surprised you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear them. And if you enjoyed this look back, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss our next dive into Hollywood's most unforgettable stories. And ring the bell so you dive into Hollywood's most unforgettable stories. Unforgettable stories. Unforgettable stories. Unforgettable stories. Unforgettable stories. Unforgettable stories. So there you have it, the cast of Friday 1995, a film that gave us endless laughs but left behind a legacy marked by loss and heartbreak. Most of the stars who made us laugh that day are no longer here, and their stories remind us how quickly life can change. Which actor's journey surprised you the most? And did you expect so many of them to be gone? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden stories of your favorite films, and hit the bell so you never miss a tragic Hollywood tale.